Nigeria is ramping up efforts to secure and mobilize climate finance as part of its strategy to strengthen resilience against climate change. Minister of Environment Alhaji Balarabe Abbas Lawal stated this at the 3rd National Climate Change Conference in Abuja. Now, this event, organized by Corporate Accountability and Public Participation Africa, highlighted need for climate finance reforms and stronger support for developing nations facing climate changes. Let's now join our correspondent, Naomi Oleribi, with the details.
Minister of Environment Alhaji Balarabe Abbas underscored the importance of securing funds to support projects in renewable energy, afforestation, and sustainable transportation.
Green Bond targets at green projects that reduces emission, projects that are sustainable, and projects that aim to reduce the impact of climate change.
In his keynote address, global climate activist Mr. Nemo Bassey urged Nigeria and other African nations to press wealthier countries to acknowledge their responsibility in climate change and to provide greater financial support.
Because a lot of communities are losing territory right now to sea level rise and coastal erosion. They are losing their infrastructure, their buildings, their cemeteries. Things are just being washed off into the ocean. So this kind of restoration, which is spearheaded by the people themselves, is something that we should encourage. Government should invest in helping communities regain resilience, help to restore the environment so that we don't blame the victims.
Mr. Akimbode Oluwafemi, Executive Director of CAPA, echoed these calls, noting that while African countries contribute minimally to global emissions, they suffer climate impacts without sufficient support.
As at today, not up to 20% of the funds needed have been raised. And so, climate activists and rights movement across the world, including Demand for Climate Justice, DCJ, Climate Action Network, CAN, and African Make Big Polluters Pay, MBPP, have called for the declaration of a state of emergency on climate financing, with an initial demand of $5 trillion in climate finance annually in the next 5 years as a down payment to the Global South as a matter of urgency and justice.
The conference also highlighted Nigeria's 2021 Climate Change Act, which proposes a climate change fund aimed at mobilizing resources for resilience initiatives. However, participants emphasized that clarity around the fund's operation and sources of financing is essential for it to make a substantial impact. Naomi Oleribe, ADBN News.
And now moving on to Akwa Ibom State, where the governor, Pastor Moyena, has officially commissioned